Downtown Moscow, Idaho, hooligans began throwing rocks and rioting over the not guilty verdict of the Bryan Kohberger case. Prosecutors are outraged with the jury's decision. Protesters set fires, spray-painted graffiti, and damaged buildings. At least one person was arrested. The mayor's office says the group leading the recent unrest is made up of, quote, self-described anarchists. Police are expecting more protests this weekend.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Strange Suspicion True Crime series.
Hey guys, if you missed our live stream last week, we dived into this 319-page change of venue memorandum, and what we found was seriously shocking. The responses to the survey, which are within that document, make it clear that a fair trial in Moscow, Idaho, or even Latah County is nearly impossible.
No fair. No fair, no fair.
I'll even go out on a limb here and say that it is impossible, but that's just logic. Not everyone uses it, so I guess that makes me a little bit old-fashioned.
With common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But
honestly, I'm not even sure I buy that Stephen Kalbas is really that worried about how far away the trial is. He's worried about distance. I've seen him quoted saying he doesn't know what he'd do if it was far away, like in Boise, because it's so far away from where they live. I doubt a freight train could stop him. If distance is enough to keep him away, then I'm not sure who I'm watching on YouTube talking almost daily about this case and about his daughter receiving justice for almost 2 years straight. I would think nothing would stop him from attending.
There's a couple things that tell me I do not feel confident, and that's why I push the envelope and say a little bit more. I hate to be that guy, but there's a job to do for everybody. Has a job and a role to play, and this is my role as the parent.
A community survey was given in Latah County, which examined how media coverage affected potential jurors. It revealed that almost everyone knew about the case, with many people closely following it who were surveyed in this telephone survey. Most were aware of key details like the knife sheath with DNA and the defendant's car being seen near the crime scene. This familiarity and media exposure have led many to prejudge Bryan Kohberger and see him as guilty in their own mind, which is prejudicial and unfair. Unfortunately, Bryan Kohberger is going to have to deal with some community in Idaho. And because Idaho is such a sparse and remote kind of state, it's kind of like living in a big state full of small towns where everybody kind of knows everything that's going on. And let's face it, how many of us live in Idaho? I can't imagine, for those of us who follow this case so closely, if we actually lived in Idaho, we would probably be following it 10 times as close. So it's got to be really, really hard for them to find a fair jury anywhere. It's kind of mind-boggling to me to think that there's going to be a venue for this case at all. 2 years of publicity. It's nothing to sneeze at.
And talk about me day after day with no defense.
Not me.
In Idaho, a group of suspected white supremacists wearing riot gear was arrested near a pride event in Coeur d'Alene. The police chief says the dozens arrested on misdemeanor conspiracy charges appear to be members of the hate group Patriot Front. One of the men was also a co-leader of the deadly 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Idaho's Governor Brad Little released a statement praising law enforcement, adding intimidation, scare tactics, and violence have no place in our great state.
Also, I would like to just address just quickly to set some people at ease. The document that I read stated that Murphy, who was Kaylee's dog, was unharmed. I think that's very important to not only all of the animal lovers of the world and all our animal lover subscribers, but also to the case. Let's not take for granted the love a dog has for their owners, and if anyone is doing harm to their owners, they go absolutely crazy in their own ways. I sure remember how protective my dog Sleepy was. I really miss her. I bet she would have defended me with her life. But she was a pit bull husky, and it's important to consider the breed of the dog. Murphy was a golden doodle. Golden doodles are very friendly dogs and very welcoming to strangers. They even have a soft bite, guys. So either Murphy was put in that room to prevent him from seeing Kaylee's demise, or he was already in that room. However, golden doodles have a high sense of alertness and are very connected with their owners. He would not have been silent in the bedroom for an 8-hour time frame. Quietly anyway. If he knew Kaylee was in the next room, golden doodles like Murphy would whine. They would cry. They would bark. Dogs, including dogs like Murphy, may be destructive when they miss their owners as a way to cope with the stress of being apart from their owner or left alone for long periods of time. These behaviors may include something like chewing, nipping, ripping things apart. Kaylee's room was not disturbed, and there was even applesauce in the garbage.
From Kaylee's room that was full and appeared untouched.
We opened it. It was a little squeezy applesauce thing.
It did not appear to have been gone through.
It is pretty spooky to consider the fact that he just sat in there, silently doing nothing, with no reaction.
Our defense team firmly, and I mean firmly, believes in Mr. Kohberger's innocence. And right now, he's being held to have a trial in a county that believes that he is guilty.
Also, I feel like it is important to additionally note that there is something very equally important. Not everybody researches court documents. I mean, I do because I'm a YouTube creator and I'm interested in the case. You possibly might as well. Members of the media, other YouTube creators study these documents and bring information to you, amazing subscribers. And sometimes subscribers bring information to us, YouTube creators. But it is our responsibility to deliver them fairly and honestly in an unbiased manner. This is a 319-page document. I feel not everybody will read this, even though it clarifies a lot of the information which has been put out to the public, which is false. And I fear that the public will never actually read this document for themselves. So when someone's life is on the line and they could be falsely accused, it pulls at my heartstrings. It makes me feel sad that they aren't given a fair shot. After all, if Bryan is guilty, they should absolutely be able to convict him in a way that's just as translucent and fair, that reflects the fairness of our justice system and what it should represent. It sure doesn't seem like that's what's going on here. If Bryan is so clearly guilty in the eyes of the public and the eyes of the prosecution, there should be no problem. There should be no hiding evidence. There should be no requests for things to be unsealed so that his lawyer, Bryan's lawyer, and Taylor can see it. There should be not 2 years waiting for a trial. At this point, Bryan will have waited 2.5 years when his trial begins next year. And I feel like that is not a speedy trial. I don't feel like any of this is giving him a fair shot in any way, shape, or form. It's just really suspect to me. It just seems like something isn't right here. And I feel like it could be the environment that the case is going to be tried in. It could be the people who were involved in this were so well known, and so the emotions are so high. But at the same time, I feel that it's important that we take a step back from anything that we might falsely believe and wait for the truth.
Now lean back, lean back, lean back, come on.
I'm two different people, basically.
How long have you been two different people?
Long time. 14 years.
Israel Keys will be an interesting case indeed for us to explore here at Strange Suspicion, and we will be doing that in August. So stay tuned, guys.
This is not speculation, this is factulation.